Hello students, welcome to the lecture series on international business. Today's topic is regional economic integration and this is part 3. I am Professor Soma Sen Gupta, Kamla Nehru College, University of Delhi. We will continue with the levels or forms of economic integration. We have already discussed the 3 levels. The 4th and the 5th level, that is the economic union and political union, we are going to discuss in this lecture. A quick recap of levels or forms of economic integration, what we have studied in our previous lecture. Economic integrations are progressing from low level integration to higher levels of integration with the growth of trade and investment. There are basically 5 levels of economic integration starting from lower level or preferential trade agreement to deeper level of political union. So, the 5 levels are preferential trade agreement and free trade agreement, custom union, common market. These 3 we have discussed in our previous lecture. And then the 4th level is economic union and the 5th is political union. So, when we talked about preferential trade agreement, it is the simplest and most common arrangement of economic integration. Here member countries agree to gradually reduce or eliminate barriers to trade in products and services within the bloc. Mostly this is between 2 or 3 countries. In preferential trade agreement, member nations agree to reduce or eliminate tariff barriers on selected goods. But when we talk about free trade agreement, which is also a kind of a preferential trade agreement, the list is exhaustive in the sense that the member nations agree to reduce or remove tariff barriers on all goods. Custom union is the second level. This is similar to free trade agreement except that the member countries of a given bloc also have common trade policies towards non-member nations. So, this means 2 things, that member nations agree to reduce or remove tariff barriers on all goods just like free trade agreement. They agree to common tariff and on non-tariff barriers on trade with non-member nations. So, it is an extension of PTA and FTA. The third level that we have discussed is the common market. So, this is one step ahead of the previous one. This is similar to custom union, but in addition to it, common market also allows free movement of labor and capital within the bloc. So, there are no restrictions on emigration, immigration and cross-border flow of capital among member countries. So, this we have discussed till now. So, today we will discuss the 4th level and that is economic union. Now, obviously, it is one step higher than the common market. This is much deeper level of integration. Here, along with the advantages of earlier stages of integration, member economies also agree to have a common monetary and fiscal policy. So, this is a much deeper level of integration. So, when we talk about common monetary and fiscal policy, this includes policy changes in all the member nations so that they have an identical tax rates, fixed exchange rates, free convertibility of currencies and free movement of capital. So, this is a higher level of union. Now, European Union can be considered as a best example, although we have discussed European Union in the previous levels also. But if we talk about European Union, it has this economic union as well because they have a common monetary and fiscal policy. EU members have eliminated cross-border controls. They have a monetary policy with single currency and that is euro. An economic union is deep, a deep form of economic integration where member countries eliminate internal trade barriers, establish a common market that we have discussed till common market. So, those benefits are there in case of economic union also. There is a free movement of goods, services, capital and labor. Plus, they coordinate fiscal and monetary policies to achieve deeper economic integration. So, this is one step ahead of the common market. It represents a higher level of economic partnership than a mere custom union or common market, because it is a kind of a unified way they are working and with a common monetary and fiscal policy. It often involves common economic institutions like banks. They may be having a common bank for all the member nations, and sometimes a common currency like euro we have discussed, and overarching economic governance. So, the European Union head, there is a functional body also which decides about the policies of the European Union, which is applicable to all the member nations. So, common economic governance is also happening. The European Union, as we said, is a prime example of the comprehensive economic union that also has political aspects also. So, politically also there is a balance between the member nations and they act together. So, if they are against Russia in a war, then they have a unified policy towards it. The key characteristics of economic union are as follows. The first one is elimination of trade barriers. This is common to all types of economic integrations, right from preferential trade agreement and free trade agreement. So, all tariff and other barriers to trade between member states are removed in case of economic union also. A common external tariff, as we have discussed in custom union, here also this advantage is that their member countries adopt a common external trade policy and tariff towards non-member countries as with the custom union. Common market, so that this we have discussed in case of common market also. So, here in case of economic union, this benefit of common market is also there, which includes the free movement of goods, services and all the factors of production, whether capital, labor across the borders of the member states. Now, this is an extension like in case of European Union, which happens that all the member nations have a common monetary and fiscal policies. So, when we talk about economic union, this special advantage is there of harmonized policies. Member countries coordinate and harmonize their monetary, fiscal and product regulation policies. Also, they have common economic institutions. The union may establish common institutions to oversee and enforce economic policies. So, that is there in case of European Union. Then optional common currency, that we have discussed that in European Union they have a common currency also, that is euro. In some advanced economic unions, a common currency is adopted, further deepening economic integration as seen in a monetary union. So, it is one step ahead of the common market, that it has a monetary union as well. Now, what is the purpose of an economic union? Because any union has some demerits also. So, there should be a strong case for a economic union. So, when we talk about economic union, it is obvious that they have economic benefits, which aims to reduce internal trade costs and increase trade volume, fostering economic growth and long-term investment among members. Then economic integration is possible, like creates a more integrated economic area, leading to deeper cooperation and interdependence between member nations. And again this is a very good example, and that is why we are discussing it, that is European Union. The most well known example combining a common market, customs union and monetary union, the Eurozone, with shared economic governance and political dimension. So, again and again we have taken the example of European Union, because in every level, whatever the level of the regional economic integration we have discussed, the elements are there in European Union as well, right from the first to the last. Then there is another example of economic union, which is Eurasian Economic Union, EAEU. This is a union of 5 post-Soviet states, like one of the major member is of course Russia. Then the other members are the allies of Russia, like Belarus, Armenia, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. So these 5 post-Soviet states makes the Eurasian Economic Union, a regional economic union that aims to integrate the economies of its member states, though with some challenges in policy coordination and financial matters. Now coming to the last level of regional economic integration and the highest one or the deepest one, and that is political union. Now these political union are a little rare, although European Union is also considered as political union, but in real sense it can't be considered as political union, as the member nations, they maintain their individual identity as well. So what is political union? It represents the most advanced level of integration with a common government and single constitution. So this is big thing. So they become a single country, or they work under a single country with a common government and single constitution. Now can you think about a country which can be considered as political union? So that is important. The sovereignty and democratic rights of the member economies are significantly reduced because they are part of a proper union. Okay. So USSR, the erstwhile Soviet, what we call Soviet Union, that was a kind of a political union with all the countries. They became the part of the USSR. So that was one of the case. But the another example is the Great Britain. So we will discuss it later on. So what is the definition then? A political union is the formal joining of 2 or more separate political entities such as nations, states or territories under a single government or a coordinated system, creating a larger unified political body. So this is a political union. The unification can be voluntary or coercive and may involve the cessation of some sovereignty by the constituent members to the central authority. So sometimes the unification is voluntary, like in India, you know that 2 of the formerly they were considered as a separate country, like Sikkim. It joined India and they got unified with India. Also after independence, many of the princely states, like the princely state of Mysore and all, they joined together and became a one republic, and that is India. Likewise, Goa was unified with India. So unification can be voluntary or coercive and may involve the cessation of some sovereignty by the constituent members to the central authority. Now, a best example of political union is the United Kingdom. Now, it is a union of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, and the European Union is also considered as a political and economic union of multiple countries. But the best one is the United Kingdom, because all these England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, they are unified together and joined hands and became United Kingdom. The key characteristics of political union are, first of all, the formation. So the political union, as we have said, that when 2 nations or states, they join together, unify together, that becomes a political union. So it is formed by the merging of smaller political entities into a larger one. Government, a central government or a coordinating body oversees the constituent units. So when we talk about Great Britain, then the England, it can be considered as the coordinating body, because all the other states, main states, they have joined hands together and abiding by whatever is decisions are taken in London. Subordination. Individual members are subordinate to central authority, though they may retain some powers or autonomy. So, some powers and autonomy may be given to them, but that is subordinate to the central authority. So, if there is any clash, the central authority will prevail. So, that is the subordination of individual states. Voluntary versus coercive, as we have said, that the union can be created through a voluntary mutual agreement or through coercion, conquest or reunification of a previously unified entity. So, this can be done most of the time initially voluntarily, also many countries join together, but many a times it is coercive tactic that they have to use to bring this unification into nature. So, this is another characteristic. Then another is retention of forms. Some unions may allow for the retention of pre-union rights and infrastructure within the member entities. So, some privileges or rights which were there in the independent nation or state, that will prevail even after unification. So, that can be possible. So, as we have said, the best example, if we take out of all these things, whether it is European Union or United Kingdom or even India, we said as an example. So, United Kingdom is the best example, a political union formed from the distinct nations of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, each retaining some level of autonomy while being part of a single sovereign state. Now, there are certain other forms of integration also beside these 5 forms that we have discussed, that is preferential trade agreement and free trade agreement, that was the first one. Second was the custom union, third was the common market, fourth was economic union and the fifth was political union. So, beside that there can be other forms which come and go. So, one is there are some other popular forms of regional economic integration that can be notified to the WTO. So, you have to notify to the WTO, partial scope agreement which is preferential trade agreement notified to WTO. Then there can be economic integration agreements which cover trade in services. So, while PTA and FTA, that is preferential trade agreement and free trade agreement is all about goods, economic integration agreements is also covering services. Now, what are the benefits of regional economic integration? So, we have discussed the different levels of economic integration and in that also we have discussed some of the benefits. So, you will find some of the benefits that we are going to discuss quite common with all the levels that we have discussed previously. So, regional economic integration offers benefits like expanded trade, larger market, greater economic growth, increased efficiency and economies of scale through specialization and reduce barriers. So, when all the member nations they join hand together and there is a free movement of different products, services and factors of production, obviously the market expands and it is beneficial for both all the countries which are member of the regional economic integration. It also boosts competitiveness, creates jobs, attracts investment and fosters political harmony and stability among member nations. So, you will if we see in the past there was rift in many European nations, but after European Union came into picture, there is virtually no rifts between the different member nations, although Britain had some problem and that is why they exited from the European Union, which is popularly known as Brexit. So, harmony is maintained between the member nations because they are part of regional economic integration or bloc and it is beneficial for all the members as it creates jobs and attracts investment. Also additionally, integration facilitates the sharing of infrastructure costs, improves access to public goods and strengthens the collective bargaining power of member countries in global affairs. So, when we talk about infrastructure costs, like they can take the benefit of the infrastructure of one country, the other country can take benefit of that whether it is roads or transportation or the ports, so that will be beneficial for all the member nations. All the public goods they can utilize, and they become stronger because they can bargain collectively with the outside world. So that is the benefit. Now, we can divide the benefits into two major categories. One is the economic benefits of regional economic integration, and another is the social and political benefits of regional economic integration. In this lecture, we will cover the economic benefits of regional economic integration. So, we have discussed that in the previous paragraphs, that better flow of goods and services happens. Regional economic integration promotes better flow of goods and services among the member nations. Hence, the positive impact of regional economic integration can be seen, but the magnitude of advantages may differ for each member of the bloc. Then another is trade creation and economies of scale. Regional economic integration brings about policies and measures to reduce trade barriers. Such environment helps to boost trade among the member nations. Reduction in tariff encourages member economies to expand the market size. Members look for more competitive products, reduction in trade cost and reduction in the cost of factors of production. All these leads to trade creation which takes place between the member nations. Another benefit is larger market size. So, regional economic integration provides a larger market as compared to the domestic market in isolation. When there is a regional bloc, the whole of the bloc is your market where there is no tariff, no extra expenditure. This is possible as the consumer can easily look for products and services offered by all members who belong to a bloc. The larger market so created would lead to high degree of specialization of product offered, leading to industrial development of the whole of the region. So, it might be possible that France has a specialization in production of certain commodities that will be beneficial for whole of the European Union, they can buy from there. Then another advantage is generating employment prospects. Economic integration leads to trade liberation, market expansion and better cooperation among member nations which creates employment prospects. And since the whole of, if we take the example of again the EU, the whole of the EU is your employment opportunity or market opportunity. Without any restriction you can move or you can move your product from one place to another. Then people are free to migrate from one nation to another for better job opportunities and or better pay. In the bloc, I am talking about the regional integration, wherever it happened, there these facilities are available. Also, industries may shift their production processes to nations that provide cheaper inputs like low wage workers, cheap raw material, less cost of establishment, cheaper equipment and tools. Another benefit is supports economic growth. Economic integration promotes better production and consumption which leads to rise in real income generated. Member nations try to harmonize key policies such as trade, fiscal and monetary policies that encourages flow of both trade and investment. Increased security of market access is possible. This benefit accrues especially for smaller countries by forming regional trading blocs with larger countries. They get security, their bargaining power or bargaining strength also improves. Like in multilateral trade agreements, they will have more say, even the smaller members of the group. Also in protesting against the slow pace of trade negotiation, they can bargain. So that is the benefit. Promotes regional infant industries. Infant industries are promoted which cannot be viable without a protected regional market. Prevents further damage to their trading strength. Infant and indigenous industries are not only protected but their trading strength is enhanced. It prevents further trade diversion from third or non-member countries. So, let us summarize whatever we have studied in this lecture. So, in economic union, member economies agree to have a common monetary and fiscal policy. So, this is the fourth level of regional economic integration. The characteristics are no trade barriers, common external tariff market, currency, monetary and fiscal policies. The fifth level is the political union. A political union is the formal joining of two or more separate political entities such as nations, states or territories under a single government or a coordinated system, creating a larger unified political body. The key characteristics of political union are formation of by merging of entities, coordinating body, subordination of individual bodies which may be voluntary or coercive. And then we have discussed the regional benefits of regional economic integration, and the benefits are like expanded trade and larger markets leading to greater economic growth, increased efficiency and economies of scale through specialization and reduced barriers. So, we have discussed the economic factors or economic benefits of regional economic integration. For references, you can consult books like one by C.B. Gupta, another by S. Verma or Sumati Verma, then Chaturvedi and others, they have also written a book, and Hill and Hult is an international book which you can refer to. Thank you very much students, have a nice day.